Live, Laugh, Larceny discusses true petty crimes that may be disturbing to some.
Or could be easy listening to all you psychopaths out there.
All stories are based on actual events, but details may vary.
Listener discretion is not advised.
Live,
Laugh.
Larceny. Welcome to Live, Laugh, Larceny, the tension of sharing a meal with an older relative that you blocked on Facebook. This is Trevin.
And I'm Amanda. That has actually happened to me before, but we don't have to get into it too deep.
Yeah, I've had a couple myself.
So, Trevin, that was a very dreadful opening. Do you have a dreadful dilemma this week?
I have a dreadful dilemma, and it has to do with that vacation again.
Oh, man, that vacation.
It's the gift that keeps on giving dilemmas.
Okay, let's hear it.
So we came back from that vacation, and we did last week's episode together.
Yes.
And I was struggling a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But I just want to bring up that vacation struggle. And I had said it briefly to you off mic, but for the first time in my life, this was a vacation where I actually just didn't do anything. Normally when I take vacations, I take a week off around Christmas time, and I always tell myself, I'm going to get something done. I've taken vacations where I've gotten albums done. I've taken vacations where I've gotten just other recording stuff done or things around the house, blah, blah, blah. Even if I was going to take a vacation, and I know I took one last year, I was getting podcast work done.
Yeah.
This was the first time that I'd ever just completely shut off. I didn't keep up very well on our social media.
Me neither. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah. Oh, well. I didn't do one thing for this show until maybe end of the day Saturday, because when we got back on Friday, I was so drained, I basically just laid on the couch. Then Saturday, I woke Emily up and I said, quit laying in bed. We're not being lazy today. I got up, did two things, laid on the couch and started napping again. But it was just so nice to not worry about other things.
But that's what vacation is all about sometimes. Sometimes you have those trips where they're kind of work trips. Sometimes you have trips where you're going somewhere to do specific things. And honestly, I'm glad that you took that time because you need it. You are just go, 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 and you do so much for our show that I was hoping that you would do this on your vacation.
I also didn't work out once.
Really?
And
well, but you walked around. You walked on the beach and stuff.
I walked around, yeah.
Yeah.
But when I'm like, oh, I'm taking a rest, I'll maybe take 2 days off, and then the guilt comes in, and I can't not do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not the dreadful thing. It's not dreadful that I took a break. What's dreadful was trying to get back to where I was before. I realized that I have such an OCD way of living my life that everything feels like I'm juggling. I feel like I'm just juggling a bunch of stuff. It's like podcast in the air, working out in the air, eating right in the air, getting to work, getting the right amount of sleep, doing this, doing that. And then I constantly have this weird feeling if I do one thing wrong, I'm going to miss one and all the things I'm juggling just hit the ground. And so...
Ooh, that is relatable AF.
I kind of live in a way to where everything's just kind of on fire, but even if it's not, and I keep a very chill demeanor. You wouldn't think that I feel that way, but mentally I'm juggling a lot of thoughts and things I need to get done. And so for once I didn't do it, but now that I'm getting back into it, my way of thinking is just like, I have to be switched on and be prepared for everything coming at me.
Yeah.
I almost look at myself like I'm a different person. I'm like, how the hell did you do that? What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to live my life a little more relaxed with certain things and be able to shut it off. But at the same time, I only know one way of living.
Yeah.
And it's just a really weird thing to actually take that break and then come back into it cold and then realize maybe how I was thinking and handling everything shouldn't be that way.
Yeah. I can relate so hard because we both have OCD and anxiety and all these crazy, well, okay, no, they're not crazy. They're mental health problems, okay? But no, it's very hard to kind of relearn because sometimes when you're just constantly doing that mental juggling, constantly multitasking, trying to be productive in every single aspect of your thing, feeling the guilt, I can relate to everything you're saying. But then once you kind of learn to gradually combine the two of this is my relaxation and my life time, and this is my productive time, and I don't need to feel guilty, it's a really freeing thing. But to go like from one extreme to the next and then try and get back to doing it is very complicated. So
yeah, I realize I don't want to go back to the way it was.
No, and I don't want you to do that. Just as your friend and co-host, it's draining. And it wears on you.
Yeah.
So, like, it's okay to not be perfect in every aspect of your life. I've tried to do that many times, and it just doesn't happen. And it's really, really draining.
Yeah, I will say also going back to work sucks ass.
Yeah. Like, after a vacation, that's the worst.
I was going to bed at like 11-ish and waking up around 8.
Yeah.
And I was feeling really good.
Yeah.
Now I'm going back to 6:45 and trying to tell myself, you got to go to bed early, and like your body doesn't want to sleep yet.
Yeah.
The more I just realize, because I've got my capitalist issues, and I hate the 9-to-5 office life. I hate it even more when I take a step away and like, this is what life could be, but this is what it is. And companies like that hope that you get back to the way that you are. Like they want you to be so busy and fighting for survival, so then you can just come back and do your job.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I'm really spoiled in my life right now, and I feel really guilty because I've been hanging with the kids and working on my own not side stuff. It's my real stuff now that I don't have the traditional all-time job, and I'm living the schedule that feels good to my body. I'm a night owl. I like to stay up really late and get stuff done. That's when the kids are asleep and I can work and I can do my own stuff. And then I sleep in a little bit later. And I feel bad because my husband has to get up really early and he's a night owl. Yeah. And I'm like, ooh. But I'm really spoiled in that area of life right now, and feels really good to be able to have a schedule that just makes more sense to you.
One day when this pays the bills.
I can't wait.
Yes.
Ugh, heard that. Well, I also have a dreadful dilemma, and it's not about our vacation, but I've never really been one to necessarily favor or enjoy, and I don't want to offend anyone, I've never really been one to, like, my favorite decade has never been the 80s, okay?
Oh, that's mine.
Is it really?
I love the 80s.
So
terrible cars and cocaine-fueled music and movies. It's perfect.
I've never really understood it. I'm definitely more of a 60s, 70s type of gal. I always look back at those days and be like, ooh, this is the time I would have just thrived, But my whole mindset has changed about the 80s just from watching Stranger Things.
Ooh, I was wondering if you're going to say it.
And I mean, this was episodes, like so many episodes back that you were recommending, like, watch Stranger Things. Like, you brought it up multiple times. I don't know if I ever said on the show that we watched it. I don't know.
I don't think you ever brought it up.
So, yeah, gosh, what was it? Like a month ago or less than a month, we finished it. My husband and I watched all 4 seasons. It was amazing. It was beautiful. It was everything. But it really, really changed just the 80s vibe in my soul. Like, I love it so much more now. I'm jamming to Running Up That Hill on a daily basis.
Oh, everybody is.
I know. I heard it on the radio, not like a throwback radio station.
Yeah, not a local alternative station here plays it a lot.
Yeah, and I was just like, whoa. And Lila loves that song. She's just like, oh, wow, 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 wow. She's just like, oh, God. The reason why it's dreadful is that I've had this perception of the 80s, like, bad hair, bad fashion, bad. But honestly, I'm obsessed with it. I want to have like an 80s theme party now. And it's really creeping me out because I've just never been an 80s era fan until now.
Oh, there's so many levels to 80s. There's the hair metal level, the old kind of rocker level, the bubblegum pop bright stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the bubblegum pop bright stuff.
That's kind of what drew me in with, was it season 3?
Season 3 was super bright, and it had a lot of the mall. Yeah.
Yeah. That's I mean, I was already starting to like it more with season 1 and season 2, but when they were in the mall and it was that mall era of time, I was just like, damn it, the 80s seems really fun, actually.
Yeah.
Like, what have I been doing all my life? I don't know. My whole perception has changed. And I don't know how I feel about it, but I guess it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. You just broadened your horizon to another decade.
Yeah, I guess so. And also, it's dreadful because I don't know what the hell to do with my time. I was spoiled as shit. I watched all 4 seasons. They were already completely out. And we could just watch. And then I don't know when season 5 is coming.
Oh, I know. I think it'll be like end of next year at the earliest, probably.
See, and that's just really sad. And I just keep watching TikToks and videos and interviews of the cast, and it's really creepy, but I just love them all and I miss them already.
It doesn't hurt me.
But yes, it does,
Yeah.
because I miss them. Oh my God. So are we ready for a segment?
Yes.
2 truths and a lie, baby.
I've got 3 wires. Which one do I cut?
I'll give you 2 truths and a lie.
But wait, we don't have time for this.
So I'm going first this week. And do I have 2 truths and a lie for you?
I hope you do, 'cause that's the rules.
So I was telling you before we started recording, I was just going back and forth on which one I wanted to do today. And, you know, we obviously in our storytelling do the petty crimes, not the murdery things. But sometimes in our segments, it does get a little darker. And this is one of those instances.
Yeah, dark facts, killer facts. I mean, that's why they were called killer facts, because they were originally about killers type stuff.
Right. So this is a little darker, but also just really bizarre as well. Okay, so 2 truths and a lie. Before I give you the statements, did you watch the Power Rangers growing up?
Oh, yeah.
I take that as a yes.
That's Power Ranger for yes.
So did I. I was completely obsessed with Kimberly, the pink Power Ranger, but I never wanted to admit it to anyone because I had this weird thing all growing up where I didn't want people to think I was girly in any way.
Yeah.
And I never really liked the color pink until recently. I love it. But I loved Kimberly. Oh my God.
Oh, Kimberly was great.
So these statements have to do with the Power Rangers, but the dark side, okay? So here are the 3 statements. Let me know which one you think is the lie. Statement number 1. A former Red Ranger murdered his roommate with a sword. And now these are like in their real lives, okay?
Right. Not in the story.
Yes. 2. A Power Ranger child actor grew up to become a murderer, taking the lives of a couple on their yacht. And statement 3, an actress and Yellow Ranger prospect was ran off the highway while driving by another actress out of jealousy that she didn't receive the part.
Oh, wow. You know, I do know that a Yellow Ranger died. I don't know if it was like that. I don't know these fine details, but I'm going to just go on ahead and say A, using the sword is a bit on the nose.
Okay, so you think A is the lie?
Yeah, even though I'm wrong.
You're wrong? Could you tell by my face?
Yeah, your damn smile.
So, A is correct. The Red Ranger's name was Ricardo Medina Jr. So he murdered his roommate with a sword January 2015.
Oh.
Apparently, the fight was over his girlfriend taking like a parking space that he didn't like or something. It was over a really minuscule little thing. So I don't know how this blew up where a sword needed to be involved.
Sounds like he's enough of a hothead that if this wasn't the time, it was probably going to happen later.
Yes, exactly. Statement 2 is also correct. Skylar Deleon, I think is how you spell it. It's DELEON.
DeLeon?
DeLeon. Skylar DeLeon. He was a former child actor who had a non-speaking role on the TV's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah.
But his story is freaking bizarre. So apparently, him being on the Power Rangers kind of got him some notoriety as a child actor. I think he was on a few other things. But he grew up, and not only did he murder a couple, which that whole story is crazy, he was pretending to be a prospective buyer for their yacht or whatever. And they were going to go on like a test drive with him on it. And while they were at sea, he made them sign over the legal documents to their boat, and then he murdered them. So that was insane. And then he also murdered somebody else too, which I didn't write down that information. So he had actually murdered 3 people, and he was once a child actor. It's so crazy.
So he's in jail now, or is he dead?
No, he went to jail. And what's really weird is that the yacht's name was Well Deserved. Yeah, really dark and weird. So yes, not only is he in jail, but he was sentenced to death.
But he hasn't been put down yet?
As far as July of this year, it just said he was sentenced to death. So it doesn't say he was put to death.
Damn, I'm surprised there's not a documentary on this.
Maybe there is, honestly.
Or at least just like a short 20 hour-long thing.
Yeah, because the more I was researching the dark side of the Power Rangers, there have been, and this is probably what you're thinking about the Yellow Ranger. There was a Yellow Ranger that died of cancer at a very young age. Oh, actually, I just remembered one of the articles. One of the Yellow Rangers did die in a car wreck. Maybe that's where I came up with my, someone ran her off the road.
Yeah.
But a lot of them died at very young ages from car wrecks, suicides, and cancer were the 3 things that they talked about.
Yikes.
So, yeah, there's just like this whole weird dark side of like the reality of the people behind the Power Rangers. And I don't know why it weirded me out and fascinated me so much.
Yeah, why has it got to be Power Rangers?
I know. I loved that show. At least I don't think anything happened to Kimberly.
No, she was a musician.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You better work, Kim.
Oh, I think she does. I think I just saw something about her not too long ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think she was a country artist or like sort of jewel type music.
Oh, okay, cool.
Don't quote me on that, people. But I think I feel pretty good about it. So I have a 2 truths and a lie about a historical figure.
Nice.
A little older than Power Rangers.
Okay.
Marie Antoinette.
Oh, damn. Okay. I doubt I'll get this right, but I'm going to try.
The Queen of France in the late 1700s. So here are your statements.
Okay.
Statement 1. While imprisoned, her best friend's decapitated head was brought to her on a pike. 2. She was forced to give birth in front of a crowd.
Oh, shit.
Or 3. Multiple servants died retrieving the particular herbs that her iconic hair required.
I feel like the last one sounds like it could be true. Beheading and like, that sounds like something that would also happen, but also people are really weird about birth being like a spectacle sometimes, I feel like back then as well. But you know what? I'm going to go with, my first gut instinct is saying that A is the lie. So I guess I'm going to go with that.
Okay. As a complete weird turn of events, I chose A and was wrong, and it was the third one. You chose A, it was wrong, and it is the third one.
Really?
Yes. The lie was about the servants dying to get herbs for her hair.
Damn.
She was very well known for her hair, though.
Yeah.
When the French Revolution was going on, they had kept her imprisoned, and she was very ready to go to the guillotine. They said she was a beaten woman.
Wow.
And her best friend was Princess de Lamballe.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know enough about the actual French Revolution or anything. But she was attacked and like brutally stabbed a bunch of times, and they decapitated her and put her head on a stick and took it to her window just to make it even worse towards her. And some people had said that they took it to the Queen's chambers for the Queen to kiss. Obviously, she didn't kiss it.
Yeah.
And then the giving birth in front of a crowd thing was actually pretty normal for people that are important or royal, because they didn't want them to give birth in private in case somebody lied and snuck a different baby in or something. So
oh my God.
they said when she started to give birth, somebody said, hey, the queen's given birth. And so they said 200 people had came in and people had stood on top of dressers and stuff just to get a good view is what they said.
Oh my God.
And she had fainted before giving birth because it was so hot from 200 people in this big ass room.
Oh, hell no. That is not acceptable.
No, but I just thought it was so funny that it's one of like the fun facts about like people stood on dressers to get a good view.
Yeah, and it's like, a good view of what? There is no good view of this, people. Oh my God. Give the lady her space.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, now that I'm reflecting back on my thought process, I did think both of those for back in the day were doable, but the third one sounded so believable too.
Yeah.
You really got me on that one.
Well, hey, you got me too because I knew a Yellow Ranger died and
Yeah.
you made that one the lie.
Yep. Damn. Okay, well, I guess both of our segments were slightly morbid, right? But
Morbid
that's okay.
and we both picked the same ones. It was the same. Yeah.
That's so weird. So now we're on to stories.
Yes, and it is your week.
Okay, so I was messaging you last night as I was finishing up my story, and it really got me thinking that the amount of personal stories that we've told on this show, if I look at them as a collective, I've really done a lot of dumb shit in my life.
Yeah. And also, I think that really just kind of shines a light on how dramatic we think as people. Because, like, your water bottle story, everybody's probably got one. But they're like, I never thought about it in this dreadful of a scope to make a 10-minute story about it.
Exactly. And this one, I actually did legally break quite a few crimes. But, it's hard to explain. So let me just go ahead and tell you this story.
All right, I'm ready.
Here we go. Let me take you all back in time to meet 2008 Amanda. I was a junior in high school in the same small town I've told you all about numerous times before. Yes, the one without paved roads, streetlights, or businesses.
There ain't shit to do here.
It was a modest and simple area to grow up in. So naturally, I didn't feel like I belonged there. I was going to become a star one day and look back at this town filled with potholes and hillbillies to laugh in their faces. But before I could achieve that goal, I had to finish my dreadful high school career. To entertain myself and practice becoming a movie star, I thought it would be appropriate to join my school's drama program. The plays were usually obscure, and the department worked with an extremely low budget, but I wanted to make the most of it. The upcoming play was called Meet Me in St. Louis, and was apparently a classic of some sort. I auditioned my butt off. I could sing, dance, fake cry, and swoon like no one was watching. I gave it my all on the stage underneath the hot set lights. The only problem was that the drama teacher position at that time was currently being filled with my uptight and judgmental English teacher. And to top it off, she disliked me quite a bit.
Amanda, stop being so silly.
She ended up casting me in the role of Lucille, the rich, stuck-up debutante who was competing for a young man's heart. Even though it wasn't the lead, I could work with this. For months, we rehearsed the play after school. My evenings were filled with costume fittings, memorizing lines, and sneaking off backstage for some casual high school makeouts. We had finally made it to dress rehearsal, where we performed the complete play in full costume.
Action!
I curled my hair and pinned it partially up, then lathered my face with thick and bold stage makeup. I even got to carry an obnoxious lace umbrella as part of my uppity costume. Once the rehearsal was over, I changed back into my regular clothes and hopped inside my dad's Chevy truck to drive myself home. I had no idea that my naive, high school self was about to become a petty criminal. I had only made it out of the school parking lot when the truck began acting weird. Sputtering sounds and jerking motions overwhelmed my senses until everything died all at once, leaving the truck quiet and dark. All I could hear were the evening crickets chirping. As I wondered what in the hell just happened. I tried the ignition on the truck multiple times without any luck, and I slammed my hands on the wheel. Shit! I said to myself out loud. I sat defeated in the driver's seat for a moment before giving the ignition another try. After all, I only lived a few blocks from the school and just needed the truck to work for a short while longer. Like the applause I was sure to receive from acting in my school's play, the engine began to crescendo into a loud and triumphant roar as I turned the key. But my heart immediately sank as I looked at the gas meter. It was on E, and it suddenly made sense why the truck died in the first place. Before the truck could die again, I slammed on the gas. In my inexperienced teenage mind, I figured that if I sped home without stopping, I could make it there without running out of gas completely. My plan had one major setback, however. Watching me the entire time in the darkness sat one of our local police officers. As soon as he saw me hit the gas in the truck, he turned on his patrol car lights and began following me. I knew that in a normal circumstance, I should pull over, but I couldn't risk the truck dying again. I was now in the middle of a low-speed chase. Going 45 and a 25, I continued towards my parents' house, determined. With the cops still in pursuit, I didn't stop for anything. I even sped through a stop sign before turning onto my pothole-filled gravel road. I bumped up and down in the driver's seat as I saw the red and blue lights in the rearview mirror. What the fuck did I just do? I thought to myself. There was no turning back now as I slowly pulled into my parents' driveway. The sirens and lights followed up behind me, causing a scene on my quiet street. My neighbors came out on their front porches to see what I had done. A few even had their kids come out to gawk at me being pulled over in my own driveway.
Hey kids, come look at the asshole next door.
I hung my head in defeat as I knew how bad this looked. This is when I remembered that I still had my thick layer of dress rehearsal makeup all over my face. If my recklessness hadn't made me look like a clown, this makeup surely would. I cracked the driver's door and peeked my head out of the truck, yelling, "I can explain!" But the approaching cop told me to remain in the truck.
Don't.
My parents were now on their front porch, probably wondering if I had reversed backwards into a cop's car for the second time. I was either going to get a ticket or become grounded. Hell, maybe even both. The cop stood next to my window. Do you realize that you were speeding, blew through a stop sign, ran from an officer, and then tried to get out of your vehicle to talk to me afterwards? He said. Yeah, I'm sorry about all of that, I replied, feeling foolish. I explained to him that my dad's truck had run out of gas and died, and I thought if I slowed down or stopped after I got it going again, that it would have broken down. The cop couldn't help but chuckle at my thought process. He gave me a stern talking to, but ultimately let me go without any tickets. Call it small-town hospitality, dumb luck, or maybe the police officer just took pity on me. Regardless of why, I was a free woman. In the end, my parents took mercy on my soul. My punishment was to be lectured and then laughed at for years to come. I also crushed my performance in the school play, yet I never convinced my English teacher to love me. There are unlimited lessons you can learn from my petty crime story, but to sum it up, life can be dramatic enough without running from the cops. So be reasonable and fill up your damn gas tank.
So why didn't you rush to a gas station?
There wasn't one in town.
Oh,
When I talk about this town being desolate, there was nothing. I think they did end up adding a couple gas pumps, but I don't know if they were there at that time. I can't remember.
so you didn't just drive towards the nearest gas station in another town? You went home so then somebody could just go get gas and like tank and bring it to you?
I guess. I don't know. Like, nothing about my thought process was making real sense, but I was only technically 3 blocks away from home. And the gas station was a good, 15-minute drive.
Okay.
And so I was like, ah, and I was just panicking. And I was like, if I don't get there now, I'm just going to be broken down, which in reality, who cares if you're broken down 3 blocks from home or in your driveway? I mean, it's a little easier to be in your own driveway, I guess, but not enough to run from the cops over it.
No. So my next question, I know your dad isn't like a lot of people's dads that I've dealt with
Yeah.
in middle America.
No, God, no.
Okay, so my dad and a lot of people's dads I know would like hammer it in your head, don't let your gas tank get that low. Did your dad do that, or was he more like loosey-goosey, it's okay?
No, my parents have both told me repeatedly, and it's still something that I struggle with to this very day.
Okay.
It's not quite like taking a shower. Sometimes taking a shower isn't enjoyable. I can relax in the shower. But when I have stuff to do and I have to take a shower, it just feels like, I don't want to do this and stop what I'm doing, you know?
That's me going to bed.
Yeah, exactly. Getting gas is like that times 100 to me. It's like, I really have to stop just to freaking put gas into this thing. It's dumb. I need to do it. You need to sleep. You need to shower. You need to do these things, right? But sometimes it just feels like such a pain in the ass that I just procrastinate it way too far.
I guess since you don't have a set, especially now, you don't have a set schedule to work around. Like me, whenever I need it, I just wait for a certain day after work and just get on the way home.
Okay,
But
so that's smart.
you don't have like a 9 to 5 to where you work. You have free time that you can, but I get it. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It seems like it interferes with something you're in the middle of doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure because I figured, especially I feel like Jordan would be like, don't let your guests.
Oh, he tells me it on a regular basis. If he had a podcast and he did Dreadful Dilemmas, he would definitely be like, my wife constantly, every time I get in the car, the gas is almost out and I have to go fill it up.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm just dumb about it. It's just one of my things.
It's like Emily doesn't pack her lunches a lot.
Yeah.
And so she's like, oh, I ordered food out again today. I'm like, did you get surprised that lunchtime came? Like, every day has it.
I know. It's exactly like that.
You're the same thing. Like, did you get surprised that your car takes gasoline?
I know. And what's really funny is that even though I still struggle with it today, that was the one and only time I've ever in my life ran out of gas. I usually make it in time. It's very last minute, but I make it.
I'm also surprised that the cop let you go without any tickets.
Yeah. Call it white privilege, call it small town. His daughter was like a grade underneath me, and I think he just was like, oh, that fucking Amanda, what a nut, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think he was just like, oh, God. But everything I said, you know, I sped, I ran a stop sign, I fled from the police just to get this damn truck home. I did all these things. My neighbors were really in their front yards all gawking at me like, what's going on? You know, it was like the hot town gossip of the night. So it was pretty embarrassing and it was pretty dumb, and I got made fun of it for years.
I had a friend that was a cop, and I remember I had gotten in this little bit of an argument with him, and I said, okay, you've been there, I've been there, we've all been there. Sometimes you're just like driving and not paying a little bit of attention, and sometimes you speed.
Right.
And like you just want to tell the officer, oh, I'm so sorry, I just wasn't paying attention in that moment at my speed.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, well, that's just even more dangerous if you weren't paying attention behind the wheel.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, are you serious? So you still want to give somebody a ticket,
Yeah.
even though I know you've done it?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think about that all the time. But I think if that was his thought process, he would have given you a ticket because you knowingly did it. Because like still running that stoplight could have hurt somebody.
I know. The whole thing was so stupid. It was really reckless. Really, I wasn't thinking logically. I was just like, I gotta get this truck home, or like, I'm gonna be in trouble because my parents are gonna have to come out and get the truck. And then I did it even better and brought the cops to our house chasing me. It's like, what the hell? But you know how teenagers are. They think about the moment now. They don't think about the consequences later. I know that's a stereotype. That was me as a teenager. In the moment, I thought, this is my life right now, was everything right now.
And it's always such a big overcorrection of like, you skip the obvious answer to the problem and do something way out of left field to try to fix it, and it doesn't work, and you're like, I'm a victim.
Yeah. I don't know why the makeup thing made it even worse for me, because stage makeup is no joke. It's kind of like drag, you know?
It really is.
Where you have to like really exaggerate to make it so people can see you. But I was just like, not only am I such a moron and broke all these laws, but my face looks like this. Like, I was just like, oh my God. It was really funny getting myself in the mindset of writing this. I found this scrapbook that my mom had made for me throughout high school, and there are pictures of me in this play, and it really made the memories come flooding back to me. It was really weird. But it kind of like got me in the mindset of where I was, what I was thinking, like what my priorities in life were. And I did have some makeouts backstage, you know, during rehearsals. I was just a really flirty gal, you know?
Yeah, that's how you get out of tickets.
Exactly. I'm just a dumb little flirt who needed to get home, okay?
Yeah.
You can relate, can't you?
Oh, every day. Well, that was lovely.
Thank you. I'll definitely post pictures of me in my weird little meet me in St. Louis attire with the lace umbrella.
I figured you probably already had one or many pictures ready for this.
Yep. Like I said, I knew I had a picture. I thought I did. And then when I found it, I was like, yes. I remember that was the play that was going on when it happened. So it was perfect.
Nice. Well, I have our second story of the day or evening whenever you're listening to this.
I know, we're recording in the evening.
Yeah, I know, right after work on a Friday night for me.
Yeah, we usually do it on a weekend during the day, but yeah, this is, I don't know. It's not after dark or anything.
Yeah.
It's still light out, kind of. But
I feel like Amanda has more energy on these recordings, and I'm always less energy.
I know. This is the time where I thrive in life.
I took an evening swig of coffee before you came over, though, so just so I
to
could be a little
keep up
better.
with me.
Yeah. So I don't have too much to say about this one. It's a story from the news. I will be dealing a little bit with how things have changed over time. And I don't mean like over hundreds of years, but mainly like our lifespan over the last 30 or so.
Hey, things have changed even just the time we've been alive, like for sure.
Yeah. So here we go. Over the last couple of years, we've heard the phrase, "These are unprecedented times," a lot. Unless you've lived under a rock, it's pretty easy to associate the word unprecedented with COVID-19. I swear, during my time in quarantine, I probably heard the word unprecedented 5 times a day. I'm not even sure if that word was in my vocabulary before 2020. Don't worry. This is not a story that revolves around the novel virus that showed us all how easy our jobs are to do from home.
Wow, it's going to be hard for companies to go back after this.
My point is that we are almost always living in unprecedented times. For something to be unprecedented, it simply means to deal with something that has never been done or known before. Our society has been changing at what feels like a rapid rate. Although we've dealt with similar situations in our world's past, it all feels so different with how our culture around it has changed. Think about this. We've had vital elections in our nation's history that have rocked our country's sense of balance. But all of those years before, we didn't have TikTok. Yes, you can compare the past to our present with the way our culture responds to major events on a sociological level. But when people can freely share their interpretive dances about their political views, I think that's enough to consider this its own unique thing.
He is not my president, he's treading on me. Stop treading on me. Stop treading.
Since the rise of the internet, our society has been tackling one unprecedented thing after another. The way we meet each other, the way we date, communicate, and share stories have all been affected. In the beginning, it seemed like we were heading toward a golden age of communication. Everyone could be connected, and we could all share our lives in harmony. But then we all started to see how convenient everything could be if it was handled over a screen, leading us to no longer seek out offline communications.
Get away from me!
For any inquiry you may have for a business, that information should be available on Google or on their website. If you want to check up on an old high school classmate, you can find their public profile and see anything you may want to know, from how they look now to what they just had for dinner, depending on how much they update their status.
I dodged a bullet in junior high. This girl eats beans way too often.
Or, if you're an absent parent, you can follow your child online and leave thoughtful comments on their life events to give the appearance that you're there and also make yourself feel better.
I love you so much, and I'm so proud of you.
Although we all have more information on each other, we don't have any tangible rapport. I could tell you where my old high school girlfriend works and the name of her first child, but if I saw her at Target, I would hide in one of the clothes racks.
Oh shit!
For this reason alone, the internet has killed the need for high school reunions to exist. We can get the answers to all of our petty questions right here online. So why would we dress nice and battle social anxiety just to share a real conversation?
Nice suit, Trevin.
Thank you, I borrowed it from my dad.
It's easier to make these opinions and assumptions based on the surface information online. The petty crime that I will be sharing today has to do with another online interaction that you may not have considered. Just another way that the internet has changed the way that we do the simplest things. So update your password with one that you haven't used in the last 3 years. Include one capital, one number, and a symbol of your choosing. Keep it above 7 characters, but under 13, because we are about to log in to the anti-social network. Anthony was a 38-year-old man living in Richland, Washington. Although he did live in Richland, his location never really mattered, for Anthony did most of his living on the net. As an ex-vet, his most active and exciting days were behind him. Now, he just spent most of his time tending his garden, judging beauty contests, and journaling. By this, I mean that he played a lot of Farmville, commented on supermodels' Instagram photos,
So, do you work out?
and wrote long manifestos as his Facebook statuses.
Thanks to the president, I got fired for sleeping on the job.
Even when Anthony had things to do away from his computer, he always kept a mental note to return to his computer within a reasonable amount of time, just so whoever he was having a political discourse with didn't think he was too scared to respond. This was a much easier and convenient life. Anthony was socially thriving. After all, he had over 400 Facebook friends, and they all were lining up to hear his opinions.
Tell us more, Anthony.
He would start his day by logging in and wouldn't log off until his head hit the pillow. After a particularly rough day of plowing his 300 acres and raising his herd of cattle, Anthony wiped the sweat from his brow and took in his awesome work. "Ooh-wee!" he screamed out. "That's the most I can do on the free version. I must have clicked on 2,000 patches of grass." To keep himself in the theme of his very long Farmville session, he drank some ice-cold lemonade straight from the jug. With Farmville tapped out for the day, Anthony decided to get back on his main Facebook page to see what all of his friends were up to. He scrolled through Meredith's son making honor roll. He gave a heart react to Emily's Starbucks selfie, and even commented on his ex's cat meme she shared. But just as he scrolled a bit further, he saw a very familiar face. It was his own. Anthony's heart felt a quick spike of anxiety. Did someone tag him in something they did together? Or was somebody trying to communicate with him? He couldn't handle that level of socializing. The truth, however, was stranger than fiction. As he peered above the photo of himself, he noticed that it was posted by the Richland Police Department. "It's Wanted Wednesday," the post read. "Anthony Akers, 38, is wanted by the Department of Corrections for failure to comply. If you have any information, please call." "Oh my gosh," Anthony said while shaking his head. "What a way to jump the gun." Earlier that year, Anthony was arrested for being in possession of a controlled substance. It wasn't a proud moment for him, but sometimes you just need a controlled substance. He was ordered by the court to do probation check-ins, but he just got too tied up with his online life to make it. He begged for them to have a way for him to check in with his probation officer online, but they were pretty adamant about him doing it in person. Still though, this was just a failure to go to probation. Did this really warrant him being the face of Richland PD's most exciting weekday hashtag, Wanted Wednesday? In the only way he knew how to handle it, Anthony commented on the post. "Calm down, I'm going to turn myself in," the comment read. The next day, the RPD liked his comment and replied back, "Hey Anthony, we haven't seen you yet. Our business hours are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Of course, if you need a ride, you can call the non-emergency number, and we will come pick you up." At this point, Anthony felt like he had another online friend. Not only that, but people were liking and commenting on his responses. Could this have been fame? When he spent hours writing a heartfelt post about how Mountain Dew turns children into communists, that would only score him 1 like and 3 laugh reactions. Here he is, telling the police he will turn himself in, and this is getting thousands of responses. This just didn't feel like the time to be going to jail. His audience needed more, and Anthony didn't have the heart to keep his fans waiting. He put his fingers to the keyboard and responded. "Thank you. Tying up a couple loose ends since I will probably be in there for a month. Should be in there in the next 48 hours. A rush of excitement overtook Anthony. It was like sending a love note to a long-distance lover. Never had anyone ever been this excited to talk to him. There was a sense of fear about leaving his digital farm unattended for a month, but also a bit of a butterflies in the stomach feeling over all of these interactions. After a busy weekend of stocking up on grain and hay for his farm, the next week began. The RPD's second most celebrated weekday hashtag came around, Morose Monday. The police department's Facebook posted Anthony's picture again, along with a personal message to him. "Dear Anthony, is it us? Last Wednesday we reached out to you as wanted. You replied and even said you were going to turn yourself in. We waited, but you didn't show. After you stood us up, we reached out again, this time offering you a ride. You replied and said you needed 48 hours. The weekend came and went. We are beginning to think you are not coming. Please call us anytime and we will come to you." Once again, the RPD's post was trending and Anthony's photo was getting so many reactions. Someone cared so much to let him be a part of their wall, and all of the townspeople loved it. Part of him felt that he had to keep the show going for his Facebook crowd, while another part of him was starting to maybe feel a bit of a connection between him and the RPD. With lust on his mind, Anthony began to type out his response. "Dear RPD, it's not you, it's me. I obviously have commitment issues. I apologize for standing you up, but let me make it up to you. I will be there no later than lunchtime tomorrow. I know you have no reason to believe me after what I did to you, but I promise that if I don't make it on my own by lunchtime tomorrow, I will call for a ride to assist me with my commitment issues. Thank you in advance to your response if you are patiently giving me another chance with us. I know I don't deserve it. P.S. You're beautiful. Kiss emoji." Likes, friend requests, and unsolicited dick pics flooded Anthony's Facebook. People were actually thinking about him. He had a thriving social media life. Gone were the days of him telling all of his secrets to his prized Farmville cow, Miss Moo Moo. He had real people saying his name. As Anthony was a showman, he knew he could not keep this up forever. He'd seen too many TV shows that hint at an epic conclusion, only to drag it out until the audience doesn't care anymore. There needed to be a finale to his saga. Leaving an extra salt block in the cow barn for Miss Moo Moo and kissing his horses goodbye, Anthony locked up his apartment and drove down to the station. Walking slowly up to the front door, Anthony took a deep breath. This was it. As he pressed the button to request being buzzed into the station, Anthony lifted up his phone and took a selfie, only to post it on the wall of the RPD's Facebook page. "Here for our date, sweetheart," the caption read. He clicked post as he slowly entered the building. On November 28th of 2018, the Richland, Washington Police Department posted a Wanted Wednesday post for Anthony Akers, a man who had received a warrant for failing to comply with the rules of his probation. To the police department's surprise, Mr. Akers himself commented on the post and started a conversation with them. As the responses began to get more and more playful, the RPD eventually made the interaction feel like an online date that they were continuously getting stood up for. The back and forth continued until Anthony Akers posted a selfie of himself entering the police department with a caption that said, "Here for our date, sweetheart." Anthony was then jailed for a short time and released to go back on probation. In September of 2019, Anthony was arrested again, this time for felony attempted eluding and vehicle prowl, while already being wanted for third-degree escape and failure to comply. This particular failure to comply warrant was not solved by a Wanted Wednesday post. The headlines for Anthony have changed within the last year, however. After being arrested for his most recent crimes, Anthony was given the choice to either go to prison for 6 to 8 years or enroll in Veterans Court, a Washington program that had been running for almost 2 years. Being a veteran of the Navy, Anthony had taken on substance abuse issues and alcoholism during his time in this branch of the armed forces. This had only gotten worse once he got out. His Wanted Wednesday viral post, vehicle prowling complaints, and charges for escape, whatever that is, were collateral of his lifestyle after getting out of the Navy. As of May 2021, Anthony had graduated from Veterans Court, is engaged, has a job, an 8-month-old baby, and another on the way. He is now an advocate for other veterans that need help and still uses Facebook, but now it is to encourage and help lead others like him to better their lives. Anthony's story has a lot of different layers to it, and to be honest, it is refreshing to have a happy ending like this. I wasn't really sure how to even write an uplifting finish like this, but I thought it was important that everyone know. Yes, we love to really zoom in on particular crimes and focus on what the mindset of the person committing them was. But when new information is available, that person deserves redemption. So in honor of Anthony turning his life around, I would like to try and redeem my original preamble too. Yes, we do live in unprecedented times due to our early dependency on technology. And yes, us humans have mainly used this new and amazing invention to do stupid things and hurt each other with it. But we have the potential to turn it all around and use our abilities to communicate on a wide scale for good. We already have Facebook jail. Maybe we should start a new system of Facebook court. A chance to sit offenders down with some educational videos and quizzes to help rehabilitate the people who spread hurt feelings and misinformation. Who knows? Maybe we could rehabilitate that racist uncle of yours. Instead of spreading hate, he could spread hope for a brighter tomorrow.
What a beautiful ending.
Thank you.
Oh my God. So we usually don't get to hear what happens to the petty criminals afterwards. Usually people just use it as a clickbait thing, like whatever ridiculous crime they commit. So did they do follow-up articles of this guy?
Yeah, there were 3 different follow-up articles. My mind was blown because I was trying to look up just a little bit more information about what he did or how long he was in jail.
Yeah.
And then I was like, why is this one from 2021? Why is this one from 2019? The crime happened at 18.
Yeah.
So then I thought the 19 one was going to be about him getting out of jail or something. But then the 19 one, it's so weird. The articles are like, oh, this dummy guy didn't want to follow the rules, so then he had like a Facebook blah, blah, blah. And then the 2019 one, they were like, remember this dummy guy? Well, guess what? Now he's a car prowler, and he got arrested again.
Oh.
And then 2021, they're like, ex-dummy guy now did this. And he's got kids, and he's helping people. And the Washington Veterans Court really changes lives. And I thought, that's great. I mean, that does kind of show you how the media skews and kind of puts a tone on things. But I am really glad that his crime wasn't that big of a deal or that viral. I mean, I guess it was viral on Facebook enough to get we do some deep diving to find these because they're they don't go super widespread because they're not big deals. But I was so happy to see that somebody had actually heard his story and at the news thought, this guy deserves an article. Because most people, I mean, I'm sure the naked four-wheeler rider from like episode 4, I don't think he's turned it around. But even if he did, nobody from around here would write him an article.
No.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, and that's why we just don't see that very often at all. So I think that's really cool that they're like, I wonder what this dude's up to,
Yeah, and we write our stuff super dramatically, and I think I've talked about this before, but one of my favorite quotes with like theater and writing is, tragedy is viewing a situation zoomed in, and comedy is viewing it zoomed out.
Yeah.
Let's say, example, grandma's sick in the hospital and all you're viewing is this awful, every night is late and, blah, blah, blah. But then you zoom out and you're like, okay, 5 years ago this was happening, but remember something kind of funny happened around it and we all just kind of remember it because that's life. Things happen like that. So for us to be dramatic with our stories, we take these little headlines, we zoom in like crazy and, people talk about, true crime can't be funny and blah, blah, blah. We don't toe the ethics line because these are small crimes, but also we mean no harm towards most of our criminals because it's just like we've all done it. We've been criminals in our own subjects. And I'm not afraid to say I was an awful person at the time of this one because zoomed in that moment. And you're a perfect example. You just told how you were reckless and being like stupid.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you a terrible person.
Right,
It's just zoomed in that moment.
Yeah.
You were.
Yeah. And that's how I even felt in the moment, that I was so zoomed in on what was going on currently that I couldn't see the bigger picture of it.
Exactly. And you don't need redemption because here you are hosting the show and everybody already loves you.
Oh, well, most people.
Yeah.
That is.
So
But
it's really cool that somebody gave this guy the chance to write an article. And I'm sure a lot of it was also to try to help show how important the Veterans Court system is, which it sounds like an awesome deal.
Yeah.
Sounds like more people should probably do it. But it's just really cool that he was given the opportunity because I'm sure there probably are people who are known for maybe, doing a stupid crime that made them go viral. And they could go up and say, hey guys, look, I did a great thing. And people are like, that doesn't make people click on things.
Exactly. Shoot, this was now the second personal crime that I've done while driving in that damn Chevy truck. I could have been known for totaling a cop's car, all my life or something.
Yeah, if there would have been an article on it.
Exactly. But no, I actually felt like Anthony was his name.
Yeah.
I felt like our connection was actually that we had a lot in common because we both did some stupid stuff that ended up being comedic. And then we grew up and both have 2 kids and whatnot and like moved on from it. And it's like, yeah, that's just how it goes.
Yeah, so maybe Tales of Redemption.
Tales of Redemption, man. Zooming in, zooming out, zooming all about.
Yeah, like a dog after a bath. I got the zoomies.
Exactly.
Oh, and I interrupted my story to tell you, but I do want to make sure that everybody knows the quotes in the comments are word for word. That's exactly how it went.
So funny.
I have a few things to take care of first, and then I'll be there in 48 hours. Even if it seemed long and drawn out when I was reading certain things, word for word, that was the dialogue for the world to see.
He sounds like a really funny dude, like for real.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like I mean, I probably wouldn't have done that in the moment, but I can tell you tons of stories where I've been in really uncomfortable situations and I just kind of say the clowniest shit.
Yeah.
And I look back and say, why did I do that? But then it's a funny story. I mean, like the blue mustache story.
Yeah.
I was just like, this would be kind of funny.
I know. We all handle situations differently, but when it can honestly bring joy to others, even though he was like, you know, a rule breaker, clearly, I don't know. It just makes the world a little happier, honestly. As long as you're not hurting anyone, then like, what the hell?
Right.
But yeah, that was so fun. Trevin and I both lost our shit behind the scenes when he was talking about Miss Moo Moo. That was so good.
I wrote this story a while back, and so when I was reading it, once the word just came out of my mouth, I started to laugh and she started to laugh. And then I forgot I said it again later. And I had to stop and laugh before even saying it the second time.
Oh, God. Yeah. If you guys could see, I mean, I know you do the bloopers at the end of
Yeah, this will probably be it.
every episode, but like, this is such a common thing that if people really knew that in the middle of like these dramatic readings, we're just like, you know, oh God,
Yeah.
I just spit all over the line. But yeah, redemption. I love that. I love that shit. Well, that was a fun episode, Trevin.
Yeah, that's a different theme that I would have never guessed that that's what this would be about when we first started.
No, me neither. But I love it. I love a good comeback. So I hope everyone is just having such a great week. And I hope that you remember, no matter the crime, big or small, in the end, we're all doomed.
Doomed and maybe finding redemption.
Nice. Bye.
See ya.
A big shout out to all the Power Rangers fans out there for listening to our show.
Do your best impression of Anthony and flirt with us on social media. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Live Laugh Larceny.
And if you yourself have a story of redemption, send us your petty crime story to livelaughlarceny@gmail.com or find us on social media.
And rate your last 5-star vacation on our Apple, Spotify, or Good Pods account. Pretend you're reviewing the sites, but make it about us. 5 stars only. Gone were the days of him telling all of his secrets to his prized Farmville cow, Miss Moo Moo. He had real...
I am so in love with that.
Miss Moo Moo. Leaving an extra salt block in the cow barn for Miss Moo Moo and kissing his horses goodbye. Miss Moo Moo just rolls off the lips in such a funny way.
I need her in my life.
Hello, Twisted Humans. Do you find yourself wanting to know more about the latest murder, conspiracy, cult, or haunting? Then this is the podcast for you. In 1952, there was a record high of UFOs reported. 1,500 sightings. There has been evidence of human sacrifice, devil worship, and it is haunted by more spirits than can be counted. A family of 2 adults and 2 kids reportedly saw a giant flying thing with glowing red eyes. And meanwhile, the family's nanny that helped Veronica to care for her and Lucian's children was found bludgeoned to death in the basement of their family home. I'm Alicia. And I'm Sierra, and this is Twisted and Uncorked.